Hello, lovely people. Welcome to Thoughts and Convergations with me, Lou, and we are back with episode 7 in Pride Month, everyone. It's Pride Month. This is crazy. Oh my God, flag there, flag there, flag here, rainbow here. Oh my God. And of course, being kind. Welcome back, everyone. It's a good month. It's a good month. It is our month. It's our month, okay? Our month. I'm gonna be waving around everything rainbow. I have my rainbow pants. Everything rainbow, okay? It's gonna be amazing. I have a messy room behind me, but you know what? It's okay because it's Pride Month. That's all I have to say. Oh my God, I can't believe it, you guys. Like, it's Pride Month. Oh my God. But yeah, so happy Pride Month, everyone. Very exciting stuff. I also kind of fixed my microphone, but we're not gonna talk about how it looks. It's literally taped together with masking tape. Not even like clear stuff so you can't see it, with masking tape. But you know what? It's okay, because again, it's Pride Month. Like, come on. You can't go wrong. But yeah, a lot of stuff has happened. I'm mostly gonna be talking about, obviously, Pride Month, because it's Pride Month. I'm actually recording this June 2nd, not the first day of Pride Month, but you know, close enough. I have no clue when I'm gonna actually post it, but oh well. But yeah, this is to all of the people in the queer community. Happy Pride Month. You're loved. You're valid. We all love you. So, yeah. Again, I'm not wearing my glasses because the reflection is always the worst. So, I'm going blind today. Oh my. You just got me by surprise. Oh, I must be seeing blind. And actually going into that, that's a lot of what we're going to be talking about today. One Direction. Because you know what? It's Pride Month, and I feel like this is also a time to just celebrate any other differences that we have, you know? Not just for the queer community, but just for everything else. And I'm obsessed with One Direction. And I feel like this is my time to open up my pride with One Direction. So, you know, it's okay. But yeah, I'm also like trying to keep my earrings out so that they're on display, just to make sure that you know it's Pride Month. Just to remind you it's Pride Month. And don't fall for any of those corporate schemes, okay? Don't buy anything Pride from like Target or anything like that, okay? It's not worth the live, laugh, lesbian shirt, okay? Don't do it. Don't do it. Instead, get stuff from actual queer creators and support them, because that's better. because it's actually going towards something related to the queer community. Target's just trying to make money. But yeah, anyways, we're not getting into that negative stuff because it's Pride Month, so it is all positive. It's a beautiful day here. It's supposed to be like over 80 degrees today. It's only like, what, 10? I think it's just barely 11. Sky is blue. Yesterday it was over 90 degrees here. Swam in my pool for the first time. It was magnifique. Yeah. I am so happy it's Pride Month. So happy. It's my month, honestly. My birthday is this month. I'm graduating this month. It's Pride Month this month. Crazy stuff, honestly. But yeah, so anyways, we're gonna be talking about One Direction because I'm obsessed with One Direction, and I feel like I just want to share that because One Direction makes me feel good and Pride Month makes me feel good. So again, it's Pride Month. But yeah, so I just want to do something that'll make me feel good today. So we're going to talk about One Direction because I love One Direction so much. I actually have a drawer underneath me that is literally just One Direction stuff that I have. So maybe I'll show some of that stuff. Who knows? But yeah, so One Direction, I have a whole shrine over here of old One Direction stuff. If we begin the timeline here, I have loved One Direction since I think maybe 2012. So I'm an OG. What can I say? I'm an OG. Not to flex on all y'all 2020 fans. I am an OG, okay? Don't come for me for, liking One Direction. Because it's actually funny because, liking One Direction was not a thing. Yeah, it was a thing, but, you never wanted to tell anyone that you liked One Direction because, you'd always be, people would always be like, you like One Direction, they're so gross, they're so gay, they're Pride Month. They're, just saying stuff like that. But, now, ever since 2020, it's cool to like One Direction. And I'm like, where was this support when I was in, elementary school, middle school, getting made fun of because I liked One Direction? But we're not going to talk about it. Anyways, so my obsession started in 2012. Thank you, Truck. I completely blame my second oldest sister, Michaela. How dare you? But also thank you, because I probably wouldn't be here without One Direction. So thank you for introducing me to One Direction. So One Direction has made up pretty much my whole personality. I'm not gonna lie. I love One Direction with all my heart. I grew up with One Direction quite literally. I can't remember a time where I didn't know One Direction. My first memory of One Direction was, I think, in 2011 when they used to, when they used to play music videos on Nickelodeon where it was random clips of music videos. I remember watching the What Makes You Beautiful music video on Nickelodeon and being like, One Direction, yeah, that's pretty cool. I remember that. And ever since then, all of my memories, I know that One Direction is in there, I've loved One Direction since 2012. Like I said, I think I was 7. I was 7 at that time. So again, memories started forming there. I just love One Direction. It's giving me goosebumps. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm getting goosebumps here. One Direction. There's just no words that I can say to describe how much I love them. I'm getting a bit emotional here. Okay, I need to calm down. It's literally, we're only 10 minutes into the podcast and I'm already getting emotional. But yeah, One Direction, they're the love of my life. I'm a lesbian, but I love One Direction. Oh my god. I don't even know what to say. There's just so much. I remember my sister was huge on making fun of me for not knowing enough about One Direction. So on one hand, I was being made fun of for liking One Direction, but then also my older sister was you haven't listened to this album yet? You're a fake fan. You're a Directionator. You're not cool. And so for me as a little kid, that was the end of the world. I was crisis. I'm having a proper full-on gate crisis. But yeah, it was really difficult because especially being young, I didn't know how to work anything. I was an idiot. I used to watch music videos and Minecraft videos as a kid, but for some reason it never clicked that I could use YouTube as a way to watch One Direction videos. So I couldn't keep up with that. I didn't know when they were releasing music. I still don't know when they released albums, what the exact date was. I don't remember anything like that. Whatever I heard from my older sister, I believed it because I was she knows everything, so I'm gonna trust her with it. So if she said oh, they released a new album. Have you listened to it yet? And I was like, no, I didn't even know they released a new album. She was like, oh, you Directionator, you fake fan. You need to listen to it right now. And I'm like, I don't have money to get it on iTunes. I can't listen to it. Again, me being an idiot, sorry, that was a little loud. Me being an idiot and like not knowing that I could just go to YouTube and be like, take me home, you know? I don't know. I was just interesting as a child, but it's okay. It's okay to be gay. Pride Month. But yeah, so I remember that. Like, I remember my favorite songs were, like, especially around that time, I remember always listening to, like, Heart Attack and I Wish. Stole My Heart was a huge one. Stole My Heart is still one of my favorites. I still love that freaking song so much. And like, just, sorry, that's there's a little pause there. But yeah, like, I remember listening to, like, just, there was Heart Attack, there was I Would, there was I Wish, there was Stole My Heart, there was, like, just all of these older songs that, like, I can listen to and be like, oh my god, that's my childhood right there. Summer Love is actually another one, too, that, like, I remember specifically, like, Heart Attack was, like, my go-to song. Like, Heart Attack was my song. I love that one so much. And I would always do the, ow! It was so funny because, like, my other siblings, like, were never, like, huge into One Direction. Like, you know, sometimes they'd be in the mood, be like, yeah, we like One Direction, and then other times they'd be like, no, God, please stop playing One Direction. This is too much. We hate One Direction so much. But yeah, that obviously didn't do anything for me because I was like, I love One Direction. But yeah, I just love One Direction so much. I don't know if you can tell. I'm gonna have to do like a counter. I'm not gonna have the energy. I was gonna say I should have a counter just saying, like, you know, counting how many times I say I just love One Direction or I love One Direction. There's gonna be a lot. But yeah, Louis was always my favorite. You'd expect Harry because, you know, like, everything I have is Harry related. Like, I have so many things in here that are, well, this is One Direction, but, like, you can see it mostly has Harry on it. Fun fact, this is actually the bag that I got from my Louis concert, which, let me tell you, my Louis concert was so good. Oh my god, I loved it. It was probably, like, one of the best shows I've ever been to. And again, it's because I'm a Louis person. I love Louis. Lesbians for Louis. Honestly, it's so true. But yeah, I always loved Louis, but I always got, like, Harry stuff because he was, like, the more popular one. And my older sister always got, her favorites were always, like, Louis and Zayn. She had a lot of Zayn stuff. Lovely. I remember we got Sharpie markers when that was a thing, when One Direction did a collab with Sharpie and they had their signatures and, like, colors on Sharpie markers. I think we still have some of those. Hang on. I know I definitely have, oh, here it is. Okay. So I have Niall in here. I think I found Zayn at one point. It was the purple marker. I probably won't be able to find it though. It's somewhere in this mess. But yeah, we had all 5 of them, obviously. But I've only been able to recover 2 of them, which is Niall and Zayn, the purple and the red one, which is really sad because, oh my god, I want to find every single one of them, but we probably, like, threw them out because they didn't work, which, oh my god. But yeah, I remember I had a One Direction onesie, which obviously I don't have anymore because it didn't fit me, and I was an idiot child and didn't keep this stuff. I would have, like, put myself, I would have ripped that onesie apart and like sewed extra pieces on so that I could still wear it to this day. I would. Would he please you? But yeah, like I remember this Harry poster that I had. I actually have this one photo of me. Oh my god, I have this one photo of me laying in my bunk bed and having a bunch of like Harry posters on my wall, which again, I always had Harry stuff. I still have a lot of Harry stuff, but Louis's my favorite. But yeah, I had this one big Harry poster, and and when I heard the rumor about him and Taylor dating Taylor Swift, I was really upset about it. Like, I actually really hated it. There's this one picture that my older sister put on her Facebook, saying like, you know, like, when they found out that Harry and Taylor were dating, and it's a picture of little me sitting crisscross applesauce on the floor going oh my god. And again, I was like 7 at this time. I don't know. Abby, but you're not let me go to let it smoke. But yeah, oh my god, I actually have this one. Hang on. Also, hands check. I actually have a hole on the side here, so like don't look at that. But do you guys remember fat heads? Can you imagine what this is? My sister gave it to me because she got rid of a bunch of her One Direction stuff, which is why I have so much of the old stuff that I wasn't able to have as a kid. Or stuff that I got rid of. But yeah, here it is. And it goes down like full length, like just however tall he is. That's how they made it. And I'm pretty sure, I feel like I had a red poster. It was like something like one of the ones on the side here. Or maybe it was this middle one. I can't remember honestly. But I had a poster like that. And when I found out that him and Taylor were together, I felt so betrayed as a 7-year-old, and I was like, you know what, no, this isn't acceptable. So I took a Sharpie marker and drew a mustache and a unibrow and a goatee on Harry's face, and then I think I was writing like mean stuff on it. I was like a horrible kid, and then I started scribbling his face out, and my mom was like, why did you do that to your poster? Like, you're gonna regret that when you're older. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm heartbroken. I do regret it. I do regret it now. But, yeah, and then after that, I cut it up and ripped it and threw it away because I felt so betrayed. So, if that says anything, I think that's when, my, villain arc, my villain origin. Yeah, that's my villain origin, was that moment. But yeah, this blanket is actually an old blanket that I have. Husbands. It's an old blanket that I've had since, I think, 2012 or 2013. It says it on the tag. Okay, well, if that says anything, the tag is translucent because of how old it is. So if that says anything, shows you proof. But yeah, this was like my childhood blanket. I love this blanket. I think does it have their signatures at the bottom? I can't see. No, it doesn't. Okay. But yeah, so this blanket, you know, like that TikTok where it's like, are you patriotic? And it's like, yes I am. Caw! That's what that is. Yeah, so there's that. I'm just gonna put this around me. So yeah. So yeah, I'm not gonna say it again. Okay. My ears are poking out here. So yeah, here's that. It's actually a little too warm for this, I'm not gonna lie. I am sorry, boys. But yeah, I just have a bunch of One Direction stuff. But yeah, I remember when 4 came out, specifically. I remember when 4 came out. Because that was when I was a little bit older, so I started remembering things. But I remember when 4 came out, and I remember listening to Steal My Girl for the first time and hearing Harry's part, and I was like, that's not Harry. Like, he sounds way too old in that. Like, that's not Harry's voice. Like, he just sounds different in that. And I mean, still to this day, when I listen to Steal My Girl and I hear that part, I'm like, you know, I can see where I was coming from. Because he just sounds so different in that for some reason. He just sounds so different. But yeah, I remember that. I remember my sisters getting tickets to see One Direction and not me. And my mom at that time told me that I was too young to go to a concert with them. But then later on, a couple years later, I found out that it was actually because I was too annoying. So they didn't want to bring me to see One Direction. And that was one of their last shows that they went to before they broke up. So, you know, I still sometimes cry to that. I'm not gonna lie. And it gives me the goosebumps every time I talk about it because it's a little too painful still. A little too fresh. Even though that was 2015, it's still too fresh. But yeah, I remember when Zayn left the band. I remember how I found out was from my dad. He doesn't like One Direction. Big shocker. Dad's not liking One Direction. Oh my god. But yeah, he was one of those people that's like, One Direction suck, they're not even good, they're gay, blah, 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 blah. I was like, well, I mean, you're not wrong. But yeah, but Pride Month. Can you imagine if Louis sings Only the Brave this month? Like, I think I would pass away. Because he didn't sing it at my show. So I'd be a little salty, but also like, okay. He did sing Change last night. Not Change, High in California. So, and if you listen to the lyrics, but yeah, so my hair has fallen out. Where was I going with this? I don't know. Oh yeah, Zayn. I remember when Zayn left the band, my dad told me, because he was joking around with me, and he was like, oh yeah, like, Zayn left the band, ha ha ha, now they're gonna break up because they can't stay together with just the 4 of them. They're gonna suck now. They sucked before, but they're gonna be horrible now, blah 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 blah. And I was like, Zayn didn't leave the band. What are you talking about? Like, you're pranking me right now. He in fact was not pranking me. He was not pranking me. Because Michaela told me after that it was true, and I was like, okay. And I didn't know like the Twitter feud that was going on. I think I found out like a little bit after that, like the Twitter feud. But yeah. Oh god. Yeah, that was not a fun time. And then not that long after, I think Michaela told me that they were going on an 18-month hiatus. And I was like, oh, okay, so they're coming back. I didn't really know what hiatus meant at that point, but, you know, 18-month break, they're gonna come back. And I was like, okay, perfect. Yeah, it's 2023, so I'd say they're not coming back. And I still clown all the time. Like, when I heard that 3 of the 5 members were in a recording studio writing songs together, I clowned. I will say I clowned. And anytime that they post stories on the same day, I'm like, oh my god, there's a reunion. It's not. So yeah, now I can finally properly be in my, like, fan era, you know? I'm in my fan era. But yeah. It's fine. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm just really sad that I wasn't a teenager at that time, because I would have been in my prime. I would have been able to see One Direction if I was a teenager at that time. Thanks, Mom, for that. I'm not gonna get emotional. But yeah. And I actually took a break from One Direction after they went on break, because I was like, I can't do this. Because I remember when they went on break too, and my dad was like, they're never gonna, like, get back together. Like, ever. No, we are never, ever. Yeah, but no. My dad was like, yeah, no, like, the band's not coming back. Like, they're broken up. And I was like, no, they're not. They're going on break. They're broken up. Also, 28 minutes. Oh! It's 28 minutes for me. It's probably not for you, but it's fine. Whatever. Yeah. Oh, God. My heart. But yeah, I went on a break from One Direction because I was very heartbroken that the band broke up. I remember when any of their solo music played, I was like, I don't want to hear it. Like, I remember one time, like, any time that they played, you know, Sign of the Times or anything like that, like, I always told them to shut it off because I didn't want to hear it. Like, I was so upset. I was heartbroken. And then I think it was, like, 2018, like, years after One Direction broke up, 2018, I was like, you know what? Okay, I can't resist anymore. So then I started getting in my fan era. That's when it began again. Yeah, I started, you know, just listening to One Direction again and just getting familiarized with it again. I mean, even after all those years, like, I still remembered all the lyrics of the songs. And then I started discovering, like, you know, their unreleased songs, their UK versions, their, like, deluxe limited edition bonus UK Europe, blah, blah, you know, like, all those editions that they had that, like, you can't get. Like, what is it? Like, there's Irresistible, there's Magic, there's Truly Madly Deeply, like, just the songs like that you couldn't hear in the US, or literally if you just didn't know that they existed. I also discovered Home for the first time around that area too. I think that was more like 2019 though, 2020. But yeah, I discovered Home. I didn't know that was a song, and it was like a single that, like, they just released on Twitter. They're like, yeah, here's a song. And I was like, okay, Louis, why didn't you tell me this before? But again, I didn't have Twitter at that time, so not my fault. But yeah, I remember, like, oh my god, I just, it's giving me goosebumps. Like, anytime I talk about One Direction, I just get goosebumps, because I just love them so much. But yeah, 2018, that's when I started getting into Harry's music, because, you know, he just had one album. I already kind of knew, like, one of the songs on there, Sign of the Times. So I was like, you know what? And Harry was always, like, my second favorite, because it was always, like, Louis and Harry, and then, like, you know, the 3 of them were always there. Now it's like, I don't know. Anytime that any of them uploads anything new, I'm like, you're my favorite, you're my favorite, you're my favorite. So I just don't have a favorite now. It's Louis. It's always been Louis. But yeah, when I listened to Harry's album, because it was only HS1 that was out, you know, the self-titled album. So I listened to that. I actually got Spotify just to listen to that over and over and over again, because, again, I was an idiot. I could have just gone on YouTube, but I was like, no, I have to go on Spotify and do all this. I actually really don't like Spotify, I'm not gonna lie, so I don't use it. But yeah, I got Spotify, and I remember this one vivid memory of me just like sitting on my couch and looking out my window, listening to Meet Me in the Hallway and Sweet Creature, and being like, oh my god, what have I been missing out on? Meet Me in the Hallway is actually like my all-time favorite Harry Styles song now. It's always been my favorite because that was like the first Harry song that like I really listened to. Because you know, some of the times I was like, no, do not let me listen to that. I don't want to listen to it. No. But Meet Me in the Hallway, oh my god, the emotion behind it is just, it's insane. It's crazy. So I was like, you know, Meet Me in the Hallway. And it's been my favorite. It's always been my favorite. So yeah, so I got obsessed with HS1. And then I heard that he was releasing a new album, and you know, I was just, that's when I was in my Harry era. Because I was like, you know, that was the only one of them that I listened like to their music, you know, because like I would occasionally hear like, you know, This Town or Pillow Talk or Strip That Down or Slow Hands when it was on the radio, you know. When Sign of the Times came on though, I don't know why I was so salty, but I was like, I can't listen to it. But yeah, ugh, it hurts my soul. It hurts my soul. So yeah, when I was waiting for the second album, I was already obsessed with Harry at that point, and me and my friend Jordan were like waiting up all night, jump around until we see the sun. But yeah, me and my friend Jordan were like waiting all night for the new album to drop. I remember we had a sleepover when he released Lights Up, and we stayed up all night and no, and we were just laying there, and we were just on like, you know, each of our phones and just listening to the song over and over and over and over again. Can we take the same road 2 days in the same? Sorry. But yeah, so I just, oh my god. It was, oh god, amazing. It's like, I remember listening to that and being like, oh my god, this is gonna be a good album. This is gonna be a good album. And then, you know, he started releasing like some others, and then he released his album, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. I cried listening to that album. I think it was the first album that I cried to. And then anytime that, you know, any of them release a new album, I'm like, just like crying through it. But yeah, so that was the start of the end. And then I got Harry, I think around there. No, because Harry released his album December 13th. So in November, before he released his album, we had a chance to get tickets for Love on Tour. I was really sad because I didn't get to go, because I remember watching like, is it Live on Tour or Live on Tour? I'm just gonna say Live on Tour. I remember, I would like to think of it as Live, because maybe if he does a next tour, it'll be called Laugh, and then he'll be the Karen that he really is, you know? But anyways, I remember watching videos of that tour on YouTube and being like, oh, I wish I could have experienced this. I wish I could have experienced this. And I also fell in love with Anna at that point. I loved the song Anna. I was really, oh my god, love it. And in November, that's when we had a chance to get Love on Tour tickets. So me and my older sister, Michaela, the one who got me into this mess, we were like, you know, just trying to get tickets. I remember I was at school when she was getting tickets. It was like freshman year or something like that. And I remember on the bus ride home, I remember seeing her texts saying, I didn't get the tickets. I'm so sorry. And I remember I cried so hard on the bus. The whole ride home, I have it was like a 30-minute drive from my high school to my house, like a bus ride. And I cried the whole time. And when I got home, I went inside and I had already calmed down a little bit. And right as I walked in, I think my mom was like, and she was like, "Aw, Lou," and I was like, "Ah!" And that's when I started sobbing again. I ran up to my room. I was so upset. I was like punching my pillow. I was like screaming and crying. And I got a FaceTime call from Michaela, and she was like, look, I got you the tickets. Stop crying. Please stop crying. I got you the tickets. I was just keeping it a secret. It was supposed to be a surprise. So I ruined the surprise because she actually did go through this trouble of the website glitching and not getting tickets, but then she ended up getting tickets. And oh my God. And she was going to wait until Thanksgiving to tell me when she came back home from college for Thanksgiving to tell me, which was a week from then. She was originally going to give it to me for Christmas, but then she was like, I can't wait that long. I'll give it, giving it to you Thanksgiving break. And my parents couldn't handle me sobbing and crying that whole time. So they were telling her to tell me because they were a little worried. And honestly, I remember my exact thoughts in that moment was, I'm never leaving this bed. I'm so sad. I will never recover from this. I was so upset. And then when she told me, I started crying even harder because I was like, oh my God, I'm seeing Harry Styles. And then COVID hit. He released his album, COVID hit. And I was like, okay, so I'm probably not going to see Harry live. He's going to cancel his shows. He didn't cancel them. He postponed them, luckily. I really thought he was going to cancel our show, and I was really, really going to be upset about it because our show was supposed to be in the middle of July in 2020, but then it got moved to October 23rd, 2021. So over a year. It was really, I waited over 2 years. No, I waited 2 years for this show. I waited that long for that show. And oh my God. Yeah, COVID was not fun. But that's when I started getting into Niall and Louis' music. So I would say that was a win. And I also got into Zayn's music too. I haven't really gone into Liam's music. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry. I have some of his songs, his singles. I have a lot of those. And Remember got me through COVID. Okay, it did. But I remember listening to Heartbreak Weather and Still and Flicker and all those songs through COVID, especially Heartbreak Weather. I have a specific memory attached to it, when it started getting warmer outside in the spring and we couldn't go anywhere because it was locked down. So I was just going up and down my driveway on my scooter listening to Heartbreak Weather in my headphones and just all of my life has been Heartbreak Weather. And with Zayn, I only started listening to his music fully when he released Nobody Is Listening. And Nobody Is Listening, oh my God, I love that album so much. But yeah. And then Walls came in. That was after I became a Larry. But yeah. But I mean, Louis had just released that album, right? It was 2020. It was July 31st, 2020, I think. Right? Yeah. And Niall's was the day that we had to go on lockdown, was when he released it. But yeah, I remember that. And then in 2020, you know, everyone started to get obsessed with One Direction, and I was on TikTok at that point. So I was like, you know what? This is not going to be good. And I started getting really obsessed with One Direction again. Like, I was already listening to their music, but, like, I started getting really obsessed with One Direction again. Like, I think probably more obsessed than when I was as a kid. Definitely. And that's when I started listening to a lot of their unreleased music. A lot of, like, just random random clips that, like, nobody's ever seen before. You know, all the stuff that we've seen now. And I started watching, like, their music videos again. I was, like, binge watching their video diaries. I forgot that was a thing. I forgot that they did that. So I was like, I have to watch these now. Superman! Adventures of One Direction. I was not allowed to watch that as a kid because Michaela told my mom that it was inappropriate and that I shouldn't watch it, and so I wasn't allowed to watch it. Okay. And and so I started watching it, like, that year, and I was like, oh my god, I can understand why they didn't want me to watch it as a kid. I'll have the tacos, please. Meat, cheese, and lettuce flavored O's in a tortilla bowl. That's disgusting. That's even disgustinger. That's not even a word. Hi, boys. Hi, Zane. Whoa, new hairdo. It's quite steep, like a ski jump. I'm sorry. Okay. But yeah, so there was that, and I just, like, really started getting back into One Direction again. And that was just the downfall, really. That's when Wattpad came back. That's when Wattpad came back, because One Direction, like, completely saved me during that time too, because, like, COVID was already hard enough, but I was also, like, I idolized these people on TikTok, which you should never idolize people on TikTok. Little tip there. But I idolized these people on TikTok, and then it turned really bad real quick, and I was like, oh my god, I don't think I'm gonna recover from this. It was really toxic. And then One Direction saved me. So thank you, One Direction, for saving me literally my whole life. So, yeah. And oh my god, just so much. So they've just done so much for me, and they don't even, like, know me. But, you know, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Alright. Anyways, yeah. And then that's just, like, you know, started seeing them in concert, started listening to, like, all their music again. I've seen Harry twice, and I just saw Louis, which, where do broken hearts go? He's saying, where do broken hearts go? And Night Changes, like, right in front of my face. I got to experience those One Directions. Like, I know I didn't see One Direction together, but I'm really grateful that I've been able to see them separately, because they still sing One Direction songs. Like, I've heard What Makes You Beautiful live twice. I've heard Night Changes. I've heard Where Do Broken Hearts Go. I got Niall tickets for his tour. So I'm going to be hearing his songs live. I might hear Still live, which, oh my god. I might hear Heartbreak Weather live, which, that'll be insane. But if he sings, like, One Direction songs, like, he sang Story of My Life. If I hear that, or if he sings Little Things and does the You Sing, and I get to experience that, I will die. Simple as that. But yeah, this has gone on for a really long time. Oh my god, this is longer than, like, the past couple podcasts that I've done. But yeah, so I'm definitely not done with One Direction. It's not a phase. It's been going on my whole life, and I probably won't grow out of it, because They're like my favorite band in the world. They're like my favorite artists in the world. But yeah. So anyways, I'm gonna end it off here because I've been going on a rant for like almost an hour now. So we're gonna end it there. Happy Pride Month, y'all. Oh my god. Pride Month! You're probably getting some good ASMR with this. Pride Month! But yeah, so thank you guys for watching, listening, just being here. I love you all. You're all valid, you're all amazing human beings. Thank you so much for everything. And I would like to give a special thanks to One Direction. Yeah. So thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Comment anything you want to see or hear or, you know, want me to talk about. I'm up for suggestions because I actually have a list of ideas, but I never go by it. So, yeah. Anyways, okay. So, yeah, I hope you guys liked this pod. Sorry for rambling. And I'm going to go now and enjoy the nice weather while we still have it because there are some not so nice clouds outside. But it's Pride Month, so it's okay. Okay. Thank you guys so much for listening. Goodbye. Pride Month.